Thomas says he's worked in the funeral business for 5 years, a year and a half at Heights, and was fired in July.
I called the labor board and I called the funeral board. I even called the Clark County Coroner's office and got you guys put off rotation. And when I told him that, it was over.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is that you are tuning in. This is Unapologetically me, featuring me. No special guest, just me. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you guys were able to check out my last video. If you haven't, I'm going to post it right up here. There's also an Amanda RABB playlist that you can check to watch anything that you may have missed. Today, we're going to be talking about Heights Funeral Home. I want to bring up something that may be relevant or may not be relevant to Amanda RABB's case. More than anything, I think it's just a very interesting coincidence. And because of that, I felt it was worth mentioning, since this is the funeral home that Amanda's body was transported to after her autopsy was complete. Amanda RABB passed away on May 9th of 2021. Her body was released to Heights Funeral Home, right? There's a record of this right here. But while all of this was going on with Amanda RABB, Heights Funeral Home was going through their own misfortune, if you want to call it that. They were getting complaints about the condition of their facility, amongst other things. Complaints that will disgust anyone, especially those who have had to lose a loved one and entrust a funeral home with their loved one's remains. A nightmare turned reality for families whose loved ones were taken to Heights Funeral Home for funeral preparation and/or cremation. What if I told you that the remains of Amanda RABB that we see here being spread on the beach are not Amanda RABB at all? You'd probably call me a conspiracy theorist, or at least ridiculous, right? Well, it is a possibility that these are someone else's remains. Back in June of 2021, after several complaints were made, Heights Funeral Home was finally looked into and a temporary shutdown went into effect. In August, one complaint was from a former employee that had been attempting to report some concerns about the way the funeral home was being run. He was eventually told that an online complaint needed to be filed in order for action to be taken and an inspection to be done. The employee, Rayvon Thomas, who had also been working at another funeral home at the same time, began calling in complaints in June after noticing the differences between Heights Funeral Home and the other funeral home that he had been working at. And it wasn't just differences that he noticed. There were obvious things that were going wrong at Heights that would have been obvious to anybody walking in, that they were not following certain protocols.
When I seen these babies being stacked on top of each other, my heart dropped. I always said, like, what if families came in here and saw what you were doing with their loved ones?
Thomas says he's worked in the funeral business for 5 years, a year and a half at Heights, and was fired in July.
I called the labor board and I called the funeral board. I even called the Clark County Coroner's office and got you guys put off rotation. And when I told him that, it was over.
After Rayvon found out that he needed to make an online complaint, he did so, and the investigation began. Rayvon met with Joe Mueller, who was covering the case at the time, and shared with him what he witnessed while working at Heights over the months prior, sharing photos and videos, some too graphic to share.
He shared videos and photos with me, he says, are from Heights, most too graphic to share.
You'll have another picture where the bio waste bags are not in the bio bins.
One video shows what he says is embalming happening in the wrong area. Another shows someone sawing a metal shelf with sparks flying on bodies stacked below. The law says that human remains must not be placed on other human remains.
You'll see that there's at least 5 or 6 babies stacked on top of each other.
I'll link in the description box below the full videos, but I think you get the gist. Does this have anything to do with Amanda RABB's death? No, it doesn't. But I'm showing this to you because it's like there's just been this domino effect of unfortunate circumstances. It's like one bad thing after another. And the fact that a funeral home was doing this is despicable.
He says record keeping was also a problem. We asked him if it is possible that people have the wrong remains.
Yes, it's people out there that's probably not even their loved ones. Sorry to say. Yes, definitely.
People have had concerns about the service at Heights well before the suspension happened earlier this week. We learned that whether it's this location or another, you can actually file a complaint through the board's website.
I can't even tell you what I would do if I found out that it's possible that I didn't even have my mother or father's remains, that I had somebody else's and somebody else had my mom. And I say that because this happened to some people.
Once they got our money, it was like almost nearly impossible to get a hold of anyone.
Ashley Brazil's father was recently cremated at Heights.
When I received him, I expected to have this sense of peace, and I didn't. It was just is it even him?
She says this suspension does not come as a surprise.
I can't imagine someone handing me what's supposed to be my father's remains and finding out months later, maybe that wasn't my father's remains. A lot of these people go and they do what Amanda's family did, and they spread the ashes. So there's no going back for a lot of people. Why did Amanda's body go to Heights Funeral Home and not one of the other funeral homes? It's sad because it was their rotation, but from what I gather just from these little clips, Heights took a lot of bodies of families that didn't have a lot of money.
She says Bunker's mortuary in Las Vegas stepped up to take the remaining roughly 40 bodies.
And that's a big deal because these are cases that other funeral homes don't necessarily want to take. They've been around a while. Most of them are social service cases.
So not only was Amanda RABB failed in life, in my opinion, when she was supposed to be being helped, she was also failed in death by a funeral home that has absolutely no regard for the dead. I mean, if you run a funeral home, you'd think that you'd have some compassion, right? But apparently, Heights Funeral Home has none of that. And therefore, even in death, Amanda's body was not treated with respect. It just infuriates me. This entire situation infuriates me. In every case that I do, I find corruption in places that you would not really expect to find it. But at this point, you can't shock me anymore. I'm working on another video going into Desert Hope Treatment Center. It's kind of a deep dive. I'm trying to make it 30 minutes. I really try to make all my videos under 30 minutes. Make sure that you like, comment, share. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get notified when these videos come out. My videos come out when they are ready. Some are ready quickly, like this one. Some take weeks for me to complete because there's just that much that I'm trying to fact check and verify before airing it. I also have a hard time with YouTube wanting to accept my videos on the first try, just due to the content. I will see you guys on that next video. Be prepared to be shocked yet again. I want to remind everyone that my goal is to find out who we need to hold accountable for Amanda RABB's death. Popular opinion does not mean a damn thing to me. I call my channel Unapologetically Me for a reason, and it's not because I never apologize. It's because I refuse to apologize for bringing the truth to light. No matter how ugly that truth may be, no matter how unpopular that truth may be, the truth is the truth. Facts are facts, and I will never apologize for making people aware of the truth. Love it, hate it, it doesn't matter. In order for justice to be served, we need to know the whole truth. Have a great rest of your day, your week. Please be safe, be healthy, be happy, and most of all, be unapologetically you. Bye-bye.